Meghan and Harry.
Here we are again. We're here.
Meghan and Harry.
Oh, no.
No?
I'm
you
not
can't talk about them?
What?
Why? I just think it's interesting.
What?
Well, that people are so interested in them.
Well, because it's nasty and horrible.
There we go. What
That's
bleeds
the only
leads.
time, yeah.
So, nasty and horrible stuff.
Human beings are just fascinated with nasty, disgusting little things. So there you go.
Do you know the most watched things on our YouTube is...
Porn.
Well, no, it's got Sex in the Golden Years. That one had like a few views. And then what was the other one? It was Sex and... What was,
I have no idea, nor do I care. So let's
well, anyway,
talk about something interesting.
Sex. No.
Not again. We went to see our grandson perform at a... What's the word? Tavern.
A pub. A tavern.
Yes.
It had lots of pool tables. Maybe it was a pool hall with a tavern.
Right.
And pizza.
I'm sorry I've asked now. Anyway, it was there with a huge place, and he was there on stage with his band, Summer
Drive, yes. And I got hit on.
Startled look.
By Tom the something. He was an old guy with a big white beard.
95-year-old with
well,
no teeth.
Hey, come on.
Oh, God, help us all.
Who cares?
So, yeah.
It made me feel like, whoa. I'm still in the game.
Oh, stop. So,
oh, God.
And it was amazing. These guys, there's 5 of them, and they're just incredibly talented. And it's just amazing to watch 5 talented musicians just rock the house down, because it was great. Absolutely wonderful. We're just waiting for them to go into into the star-studded realm of being pop stars. I think that's the thing. Pop stars all over the world.
Well, that brings me back to
And yes,
Meghan and Harry. Celebrity, pop stars, fame. Do we have to have fame to be happy?
no. Well, why? would
Well,
we?
I think the reason is we need money. Everybody needs money. So fame, celebrity,
Gives you money.
yes. And that's the... We were told that you have to see people's hands.
So
If you don't see the hands, I could have a knife or something. But when you see... So that's why you see these...
For God's sake, don't stand up, because you're naked from the waist down.
Right. And if
So-
you're listening to this, you
Who
don't even
cares?
see a hand. So, but
Yes,
there's my hand.
there we go.
With my dragon, my flower. Oh, fuck. Come on. Let's... So, what's interesting?
Not any of this so far.
Christ.
I'm talking about my grandson's amazing group.
Oh, but that's a bit like people bringing
what
out
does
a
music
photo
do?
of their grandson or something, isn't it? Nobody's interested. Sorry, go on. Go on.
The thing I was actually going to say
Yes.
was that music is just, I don't know how to, it transforms everything. You know, from the rock and roll of these guys shaking their head, jumping up and down, guitars, drums, keyboards, and it's like, wow, to listening to beautiful, opera, the classics. I mean, it's like music is everywhere, and it seems that we really need to have it to feel good. Yeah.
It does transcend, doesn't it? It ends the trance. Or does it take you into a trance?
Both.
I kind of feel a bit odd because there we are in this tavern, pub, pool hall, whatever, and it's a big space, and there's high tops that we're sitting at, and then when it starts really jamming, I have to get on my feet, and then there's a voice in my head, Val, you're 74 years old. What the hell do you think you're doing, standing there like a little teenager, bobbing your head? So that's what kind of goes through my mind.
But it doesn't matter though, does it? Because you do get up and you do bop, and everybody loves it, and you have a great time.
Yes, I do.
So the little
I thought you were going to
voice
say
is
I
not
have
good.
a great ass or something.
And a great ass.
What were you thinking when you were watching me bopping up there, said the narcissist in me?
It really is all about... Oh, God.
That's what you called me yesterday. You said
Well,
I'm
you
a
are.
narcissist. I don't think
Or was it an narcissist?
An narcissist.
Yes, not a narcissist, a narcissist.
Or the huge
It's all about Val. So there we go.
Isn't
So what?
Isn't everything about everything? I mean, aren't you all about Jeff?
Not really. No, I'm thinking of other people.
Oh my God.
It's a unique concept.
Never
for you.
a bigger lie was told by General G in the court of Geesdom. No, I mean, I get it. I do think about myself a lot, but don't we all think about ourselves?
Right,
I mean,
but it's just back to degrees again, babe. Everything's about degrees.
Well, I don't think I'm a huge
narcissist
narcissist.
has a huge degree of self-interest.
That's not me.
Pardon?
What?
Where?
Who?
When?
What? I mean, you have a lot of self-interest. We need to have self-interest for God's sakes. Otherwise,
of
we're
course,
just
you need to be confident.
doormats.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be a doormat.
No, true. So we do have, well, because we've got all of these wonderful traits and all of the nasty traits of being human. So, yeah, there we are.
I think about you.
When?
This morning, I put toothpaste on your toothbrush so that you didn't have to do that when you got up to have a shower.
Yeah.
I took your towel off the towel rack.
Oh, you did.
Put it there so you could have it.
That was wonderful. Yes.
What else did I? I'm sure I did something else for you. I smiled at you this morning. That's a big thing.
That's unusual. And I got a glass of...
Got you a glass of water. So I am not a narcissist. I'm amazing.
But that is the definition of a nut. Anyway,
What?
never mind.
Go on, what? What?
Doing stuff to get something.
I didn't do anything to
back,
get
like
anything.
compliments and what did you think? It's, yes, very good.
The reason that I do that is because you're not a liberal, you don't give compliments liberally.
Okay.
You're not a liberal compliment giver.
Very good.
You think you are?
Well, I don't really care. I mean, what?
Exactly. So who is the narcissist
are we back to
here?
everybody that does anything is praised, even if it's not good, even if it's wrong, even if yeah. No,
We
I don't
all
want to do that.
like a little bit of praise in our day-to-day lives. It's wonderful to be
It's wonderful.
told.
It's marvelous that you should care for me. Did you hear the tapping that you're going to
Yes.
have to edit
I'm not
out?
editing anything out.
Good.
So back
So-
to Meghan and Harry.
Oh, God.
Can I ask you, what is it about them that you just don't like
Because
to
it's
talk
a
about?
I think they've been talked about, filmed about, discussed about, photographed about. Quite sufficient now.
But
We'll
okay,
never know who did what to whom. We'll never know the truth. Let's get over it and get on with our lives. What good is all of this?
well, I
Yes.
look at it as a kind of soap opera myself, and I'm always fascinated by what they're doing and what's happening, and
Well, stop being a narcissist about soap operas and stuff. Just let people get on with their lives. What can we do with them?
we
What
can
with
learn
nothing?
from them.
Oh, and what have we learned? We don't know the truth about anything.
Exactly.
Who was at fault? Was it her or was it the other one? Was it the royal family, the firm, or was it just them being whatever it is that they were being? I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know.
Do you know what
Just how much?
I'm fascinated by people who
Need people.
who are who kind of eat to look great, who dress to look great, who
Like us.
in the morning. No, I'm not. So I am not that, and I've got my Bell's palsy, so half my face is a bit.
No,
So
none of that's true.
well, but I am not that.
Narcissist.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm resting my case so many times. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hand looked at you.
So I'm fascinated by people who are really into that, who think about what to eat and what to wear to look their best.
Well, because that's what they want to be.
Hair
And some of them are forced into that. Coming from the royal family, you're forced into doing that.
Right.
You can't walk around like chubby bubby. So you have to. You're literally conditioned on what you can eat and when you eat and how you eat.
So you can imagine, like, and now we have King Chubby Bubby on the throne.
Well, there was a king. There was
was?
a king that was a poor. Well, Henry
was
VIII in the end was
He was
huge.
a Chubby Bubby.
Yeah, but who was Edward? King Edward, not that long ago, was a little porker.
Oh, was he the one that abdicated?
No. He was
King
as thin as a
Edward?
rake.
I don't
It
remember
goes back
King Edward.
150 years.
Oh, for God's sakes. And he was a porker?
He was a little fatty,
He
yes,
was a
who
chubby-
lived his life to the extreme.
Go on, tell us. What did
Well,
he
no,
do?
he loved food and wine and parties and women and
Oh,
mistresses, and he did the lot.
dirty little boy.
I love the man.
Naughty King Edward. Oh my gosh.
I think it was Edward, yeah. Yeah, anyway,
Hey, we could be saying something that it wasn't.
another hand.
Well, so that's the fascination, to look at these. That's what fascinates me. I'm looking at these people because they're out there. The Kardashians, like, wow, the mama Kardashian to kind of take that family and
The manager.
and bring
Yeah.
in the cameras and
Bring in the cameras.
explore
We'll have yes.
their every move. Don't you find that fascinating?
Not at all.
Now, come on.
It's
so
pathetic.
you, every day, you're on your phone.
Yes,
and
on my phone.
Who are you looking at when you're on the phone? Cats.
Well, right, little bulldogs. Anything that makes me happy that isn't disgusting.
And then you look at some Karens.
Oh yes, sometimes I must admit it is a little bit of
See?
a naughty that.
And yeah, I think you would do it.
Because I'm fascinated by them.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
You're right, I take it all back.
So I feel like you were watching
Snap,
a Karen this morning because I heard this.
Oh, it was.
Go
yes.
on then, what was that about? Tell me.
This woman, it's always in a fast food place. She hasn't. She didn't get her 60,000 wings properly, and
Oh my God.
she's screaming. And then what I really liked was this really big woman. I'm not talking about chubbly bubbly. I'm talking about 6'3", and just walked straight up to her and started shouting at her.
Oh.
And you could see this woman going,
Oh shit.
I've overdone
I've
it.
overdone it. I'm
And
scared.
quietly scampered away.
Did she? What did this big...
I would punch them in the face. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Really, some people just need
Punching in the
punching
face.
in the throat.
And you could do
Punching
that.
in the throat.
Because when you were in the paratroopers,
Oh, God,
no, but
yeah.
I'm fascinated by that you had to do this thing called milling, where you would stand opposite somebody and just hit them.
For 60 seconds.
60 seconds, like how far
You
apart
couldn't
were
move.
you?
You couldn't dodge your head. You couldn't.
And just to be hit.
Yeah,
Why?
exactly. Why do you think?
So that you didn't retreat?
Oh, there you go. And you
So-
didn't what? Back down, and you didn't. You followed the orders without ever thinking. Because when you're standing at the door of a Hercules at 800 feet, most people don't really want to do it. But after you've gone through all the training, when they say go, you go.
At 800 feet?
Yeah.
Surely it was more than that.
No. That's operational parachuting. Static line, 800 feet.
God,
The
that's
idea
not
is to
very-
get you out as quickly as possible to land, get you and start running.
Fuck.
That's why the emblem for the Her Majesty's Royal Parachute Regiment is a horse with wings,
Oh.
because that's what we were, horses with our parachutes.
And you are a Sagittarius.
And nay.
And
Quack,
you,
quack,
for some reason, when you were a paratrooper, you had to carry a big gun with you.
You're in a world of your own.
Didn't
What
you
are
have a
talking
big gun?
about? Everybody did.
No, but didn't you have like
I had
an
a
extra?
Jimpy, a general purpose machine with a tripod,
Right.
and I had a guy feeding.
So you had to jump with a big gun.
Yes, how horrendous.
So tell me
Everything
about...
weighed about 70 to 80 pounds as you jumped out, because it's got all your stuff in. You can't suddenly shout up to the Hercules, I forgot me gun! Hey, you!
So now I just want to get a picture of this. So there you are. You're in the
Dismantled.
Hercules.
Yes.
And do you have to throw this big heavy gun out before you... What? Do you have to throw that out before you jump?
It's attached to you.
How?
On two big hooks.
You got a belt on with two big hooks.
Well, you've got all your gear on.
Yes.
So you've got the parachute, you've got the secondary chute, and then you've got
in front
all
of
your
you.
gear in front
All
of
of
you,
your
weighing
gear.
about 70 or 80
70
pounds on two hooks.
On two hooks.
So that when you get out and your chute opens, you flick those out and the line drops and you've got 20 feet of rope.
Okay.
With all of your gear at the bottom.
Okay.
In a big Bergen thing.
A Bergen? What's a Bergen?
Oh, like a big hat, what do you call them here that you put over your shoulders?
A hamburger.
A hamburger. You've got a huge hamburger at the bottom.
I've never heard that word Bergen.
Well,
but anyway,
it's an English.
It's an
well,
English.
Actually,
Okay.
I think it's Norwegian originally, but
like a haversack.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
What little shorty wears when he goes to school? Backpack. Except it's bloody great big one.
All right.
And then you land, release the rope, take your burger, put it on, and start running.
Wow. Sorry, I was just trying to get rid of something there.
Hmm.
So so you're parachuting down, that's 20 feet below you, so that lands first. Now then, you broke your leg.
Well, that was on a night jump.
What happened?
Exactly. I thought I was doing very well, but I think what happened is my right foot went into a hole.
Oh. Yes.
And
clipped your foot.
It didn't break it. What's it when you got a crack?
A crack?
A crack in the bone.
A crack in the bone.
Yeah.
And then, since we're just talking about your parachute days, because it does fascinate me, is when you were up in Scotland, I think around Oban maybe?
Correct.
And you were doing these sea jumps.
It's called a water jump.
A water jump.
But it was in the Irish Sea.
In the Irish Sea, which
it's
is...
the Irish Sea, sir.
It's very cold out there in the Irish Sea,
And
it's also...
It's what it is.
When my father had his yacht, and he wanted to sail across the Irish Sea, but he was too scared to do it because of the huge waves there.
It's a nasty
little sea.
It's a very narrow waterway between Ireland, Scotland and England. And boy, it can get really... they did these... what do they call it? Round the British Isles every year with these yachts.
Mm.
And I think I'm probably exaggerating here, but some of these people on the yacht die in the Irish Sea because suddenly there's a 50-foot wave and
50-foot wave. So there you are.
In these little channel because you've got the sea, the Atlantic coming this way, coming out that way, the English Channel coming that way into this little water, and it's like, look at that, good hands though.
Yeah. Which unfortunately podcasters can't see, but you're...
Oh, never mind.
And then I'm assuming, so the winds and the seas being forced through in these from different directions in the channel.
Oh, yeah.
Hell?
The weather is...
So there we are, Irish Sea, which my dad would not sail around, and we just sailed around Wales. Anyway, so there you are, doing a water jump.
And it's into the bay. Let's not exaggerate. It's not in the Irish Sea.
Oh, okay.
It's where it comes into the bay at Oban,
which
is where the Polaris submarine, the Americans had their Polaris submarine base there.
Okay. And it was a joint effort because when you jumped into the sea, who picked you up?
The Americans in their dinghies.
And what did they do?
For the parachutes and for you. Well, of course,
the parachutes for me. What?
The parachutes for them. What did I say?
The parachutes for you.
And you.
Oh, and you, meaning me. No,
me,
I wasn't there.
Paratrooper.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Where?
Well, because you looked at me for the parachutes and you, like it's Val G there that they were picking up.
Well, I mean...
you, me,
yes.
you, as in, yes.
Never again.
So you say for the parachutes and me.
Yes, to pick up all the parachutes and all the paratroopers who are now in the water.
Right, and were they a bit bastards?
Well, but it was, they were having a great time because they were saying, that the parachute costs way more than you, so we're collecting it first before we get to you.
And did they?
Oh yeah, they were messing around, but messing around. I mean, it's like,
as men do. It seems.
yeah, you see, there you are.
I'm not sure that I would feel the same way if they were like, "We're getting the parachute. Hey, we're getting the parachute before you, ma'am, because the parachute's
You damn limey.
worth more than you are, lady."
But then we went back to. They took us inland, of course, and then we had a few beers with them.
You had a few beers with them.
Yeah.
And did you like them?
Oh, sure.
Yes, and you all got
they're
on.
doing,
Was it very manly being in the parachute regiment? When I say manly, I mean manly men doing manly things. And were you both a bit rude and raucous? I just want to know the rude and raucous bits. Go on.
None at all.
Come on.
I'm not going there, so there you go.
Oh, do it a bit.
No.
Because I remember you talking that you would come back from these things and I don't know, you'd be in pubs and men would be fuck this and fuck that. And,
oh, well, but I mean, that's
strippers,
standard.
I think there were strippers.
Well, right, well, yes, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to hear about that.
Very good.
But you don't want to talk about
because
it.
it's really embarrassing.
Oh,
and
get over your
disgusting.
embarrassment. The listeners want to know what happened.
They don't want to know at all.
Yes, they do. Tell me your worst thing.
The worst thing. There was a... Where was it? Anyway, I don't know where it was. But it was like a tiki bar, you know, a Hawaiian thing.
Yes.
And we're all in there drinking. And then there's a sort of a little area that's with the bamboo...
Oh, like
poles.
bamboo poles and yes,
and there's a stripper in there.
Stripper in the bamboo pole
which
area.
I always found really embarrassing, so I try
Right.
not to. But of course, a few of them got really drunk, and one of them ran and dived through the bamboo shoots and stuck his head
into the stripper's fanny.
Correct.
And what did she do?
Screamed her head off, of course.
And everybody saved her.
Oh,
hopefully.
yeah. I mean,
good.
yeah, it was just. I mean, at the time, it was incredibly funny, and
right.
to see this great big guy just run through these bamboo.
He just was beside himself.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I could not be a stripper with a whole
People
load
like
of
that.
around. Even if I was in it, I would want a reinforced iron cage. And I could flaunt my stuff. And,
but we're going back 50. I mean,
yes.
It was. That was the game.
Now come on, about these strippers, you say about embarrassment, but your granddad used to take you to the working men's club in Newcastle.
Yes.
Where there was strippers. Tell me about
Correct.
that.
Well, but
how old were you? Like 13,
15,
15.
14.
And you were a big boy though, weren't you?
I suppose I've always been tall and
big.
stocky.
Tall, stocky boy. And Granda Brian, oh, I love Granda Brian. So he was a stoker in the Navy, in the war. You know, so there's these
shoveling coal into a boiler. Hence the word stoker. He stoked the boilers.
Wasn't he petty
officer?
Petty officer Brian.
Brian, yeah.
And in these warships going around, you know, during the war.
The battleships.
There he is. Can you imagine that? He's in this really hot, dark,
right down in the bottom of the ship,
bowels of the ship, shoveling
shit into the boiler,
shoveling coal into the boiler. Anyway, Coke. So Petty Officer Brian, Granda Brian, was a lovely man. He always welcomed me into the family with such great joy, and he loved me. He was great. I loved him.
He was a character.
And so there you are. You're a 14, 15-year-old boy, and he takes you to this working man's club just down the road. And I'm trying to think of it. Why, aye, man, that's the Geordie and I. Come on there, son, I'll take you to the working man's club down the road, you know. Come on there, Jeffrey. So
How are the lads?
How are the lads, man? How are the hammer over here?
Oh, right. Okay.
And then, come on there, laddie. So
it is weird, that, isn't it, that we say E a lot.
E, come on, lad.
Geordies are into E a lot.
And you'd be anyway. Granda, I don't know. Oh, grand.
Oh no, I was like, oh really? Wow.
Oh right, I want to come with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So there you go, into this working man's club. And I'm thinking it's just pretty bare tables, pretty...
Trestle tables and, in lines like that.
Right, like
back,
a kind of line.
And then a stage that
stage.
came out
Oh, that
slightly.
came out slightly. Oh, right. And
Huge places.
And you're sitting there. And did he order you a beer or something? Or so there you are sitting there. And did you know what to expect?
Well, not the first time.
Okay, so what happened?
Because this, I think, was his big surprise.
Oh, right.
Well, because then the next minute it's da-da-da-da, and out comes a stripper.
Oh, God, tell me, what was she wearing?
Oh, God, I can't. Well, I think just like a flimsy thing that she took off. So then there's the black stockings, the garter belt, the bra, and, diddly, diddly, diddly.
Diddly, diddly, diddly.
Off comes the
Were
bra.
there tits with things going round
Yes,
in opposite
tassels.
directions? I've never been able to do that. It's
Oh, I
fascinating.
don't know if she did opposite. I don't know. I don't know how old they were, bless them. They were probably 40.
Well, you were only 15, so a
Right.
20-year-old
it was
would
like-
seem old.
Oh,
And your
my God.
eyes were just on
Oh,
stalks.
stalks.
And you loved it.
Yes,
Emblazoned on your mind.
correct.
Which you've always had a fascination for stockings and garter belts
That's
ever
why.
since then.
Yes.
Lovely.
Well, because every woman wore them.
Right, well, back then,
Throughout the
before
day.
tights.
Yeah.
And so there you were, Grand O'Brien, and just lovely, right? You're having a great time. And then one day, your friend Andy came to stay. And he took
Yes.
you and Andy to the strip club.
I think he wasn't. Yeah, it was the working man's club, but I don't know if there was strip. But Andy. I mean,
He drank a lot.
Drank
This
like
was your
a-
best friend.
yeah, he was.
Drank like a fish.
And so did Granda.
Grand O'Brien.
And
And it
that
was
was the
Newcastle
problem.
Ale, right? Newcastle Brown.
He.
Oh, no.
Oh God, and I've forgotten what it was now.
Guinness.
Stop doing that.
Well, you can't keep big gaps of time in a
Anyway, there was
podcast.
this certain beer that he drank, but I think he drank it specially because Andy and I were drinking as well.
Okay.
Now, me, I'm not drinking that. I can't take it. Andy and my granda got drunk,
Right.
but we have to walk back because we walked everywhere. There was no.
Right.
So we're walking back up to Monday Street where we lived.
Monday Street, Newcastle upon Tyne.
And
Why, I'm
he
not-
suddenly went, oh my God. And he started running. So we're running up the street with him through the house because the doors are always open. There was never a lock on the
This
door.
is like terraced houses,
Yeah,
a whole
yeah.
row of terraced houses.
And he made it to the kitchen and then
Oh.
he shut himself.
El Grando Pupo by Grando Briano. Oh,
And of
bless
course,
him.
Nana Bryan's there going, oh my God. Gilbert, get out into... Because the toilet's outside.
Right.
So and she, bless her, and they both had to...
Clean it up.
Yeah.
Were you that? You weren't there cleaning up. What
Oh,
did
no,
you do?
no. Andy and I think we both wet our pants with laughing so much. It was terrible. But you laugh. I mean, it's somebody else's terrible. You laughed. We laughed so hard.
Oh my God, that must have been so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a lovely man.
He
And
was.
Nana Bryan was great as well. I used to do her hair. It was kind of like it was
Wispy cotton.
wispy cotton, and I used to put her hair in rollers, and she was a lovely lady. They were lovely, your grandparents. You love your grandparents, didn't you?
I love both. Yeah, both sets were
Yeah.
great with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could do no wrong.
Right, because you were the grandson. You were
I
the
was
only...
the only boy in the family.
Right.
So, yeah, I got all the attention.
Oh my God. And there you are, a narcissist to this very day.
Exactly. I rest my case.
Oh, it's lovely. So anyway, there you are. That's you being brought up. I always remember you talking about Monday Street, because when the Second World War finished and your dad, who was
Came home.
he was in the bomber, wasn't he? He was in a big
Lancaster's.
Lancaster.
bombing.
He was. If you've ever seen a Lancaster bomber plane, and you see that little bubble in the back where the gunner sits, that's where your dad was, sitting in a little bubble.
Yeah, he was a gunner. Yeah.
a rear gunner probably.
A rear gunner.
And he did like 40 sorties, didn't he? I mean,
37.
Oh, there you go, 37. Anyway, so when the war finished, of course, no money or anything, so he went to live with Nana and Granda Brian, but he didn't like Nana Brian.
Well, they had Pauline, my sister at the time. She was a surprise package because I think Mum was 17 when she had Pauline, and so he had to live with Nana Brian, who he didn't like.
I don't know. I think because she was kind of
working class, very working class.
Well, wasn't your dad though working
class?
Yes,
but his parents weren't
a little bit higher socially.
Slightly higher.
They lived in Stanhope Street, which was just round the corner from Monday Street, but socially a little bit higher class.
Bit higher. So Nana and Granda Brian were on the shit heap, and they were on the poop deck.
Poop deck of the shit heap. God. Well, your other Granda was he was a farrier, wasn't he?
Blacksmith. Yeah.
Blacksmith, and anyway, yeah.
For Scottish and Newcastle breweries.
There you go.
So Scottish and Newcastle brown ale. They had huge horses, Clydesdales. And he was the blacksmith.
And wasn't there was another... My God, your family, they're so colourful.
Oh, weird as
There was
hell.
another one who actually drove the horse and cart with the
my great
beer barrels on.
Yes. So he was my great-granda. He was my Granda Gee, who was the blacksmith.
His dad?
His son-in-law.
Okay. So... he would drive these big, with the horses and the beer barrels.
Huge
and
beer
every
barrels.
pub that they went to would give him a pint of beer. So by the end of the day, he was as drunk as a skunk. And I remember your mum saying she was so embarrassed because he would be there in the middle of the Haymarket in
One
Newcastle.
of the biggest, Newcastle City.
Like a big crossroads.
Yeah.
Directing traffic. And the
Drunk as
horse would just take... what the hell's it called? The cart.
Yeah, well, it was two Clydesdales.
Two Clydesdales.
Pulled the stuff. And he was dressed in this brown, or they had the apron, which was brown, and
like
the brown
leather
pants, brown things, black shoes, and a black bowler hat.
Oh.
This little bowler hat.
Yeah.
And he would be clipping the cloth, totally drunk. And he would stop the horses whenever he felt like it, and deciding to
direct
the traffic, because my dad was there once and he literally ran away.
In embarrassment.
Yes, because somebody might have known that he was...
Oh my God, the son or the grandson of the drunken...
320 pounds he weighed.
320 pounds. But your mum really loved him, didn't she? Because every time she saw him, and she's a young lass by then, he'd shake her hand and there'd be some money in there, like a couple of pounds or so.
Oh, no, 10 shillings.
Oh, just 10 shillings. Oh, okay. That's half
nobody
a
had any
pound.
money.
Nobody had money.
But he did have his free beer, which was quite legal. So the Scottish and Newcastle breweries, if you delivered beer for them, you were allowed to drink in every
pub. And you would sit on his knee, and there'd be no knee, just like an inch of knee, because his stomach
the hell
was
out of me.
So big.
It was this enormous person with a... What is he? Bring the Ben over here. So that would be the Ben.
Bring the Ben. I bring the Ben over here then, lassie. Oi.
I was terrified.
Oh, God.
But Mum did love him.
Yes. Oh.
He was very kind.
You come from a very colourful set
very
of people,
weird.
don't you?
Yes.
And I remember, we won't carry on too much, but I remember Uncle Ernie was one of Nana Brian's brothers, and he was like a little spelk.
He was 5 foot.
Tiny little thin man. Because how many kids were there in Nana Brian's brothers and sisters? Like 15 or 16?
No. I think it was 10.
10 kids.
10 or 11 siblings that my Nana had.
And Uncle Ernie was kind of like the runt of the litter.
Oh, definitely the runt. Yeah.
But again, what a lovely little man. He always welcomed me with a smile and a...
Yeah.
Why, aye, man. Come over here then, lassie. Oh,
Pet.
no, they didn't say lassie. That's
Pet.
good. I come over here then, pet. Come on. Come, let's see what you're about there. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
But her father,
yes.
my great-grandfather, he was
Which one?
he was a little guy.
Oh.
Her father.
Okay. Nana Bryan's father. Right. These are now the different.
Who sired all these kids.
Oh my God! Right.
He was a Tartar.
Was he? Do you
Very
remember
tough
him?
man. Well, just the story that Mum would tell me about him. He was really a hard man.
Like, what did he do?
Well, disciplined and you couldn't
thrashed,
go anywhere. Oh, aye.
hit.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But that was normal in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it called? Don't spare the bairn, or spare
the rod.
Don't spare the rod. Oh, Jesus Christ! All right then. So I can see why going back full circle.
I'm quite as mad as I am today.
To milling when you're in the para regiment, that it was fine for you because you come from a very tough neighbourhood.
Oh well.
Back then,
but
in
that
the day.
the whole area where I came from, the guys that were in the paras were all like the same. I mean, all working class.
Hard.
Yeah. But not. Yeah, they didn't know they were hard. They were just normal.
Right.
You know
Not
what
nasty
I mean?
hard.
No. Oh no, great guys. They'd give you the shirt off your back, but they'd also punch you in the face for no reason.
Hey, well.
You settle the arguments very quickly.
I love hearing about all of that because it's fascinating to me. I mean, it's just it's a whole. It's very different from my upbringing, where we all went to church, to chapel, to the Methodist chapel, and
yes,
one of my grandfathers was very athletic, and they were kind of musicians, but I remember Grandad Williams was. I think he was in the Navy as well. They were all military people. All the families were military families.
well, they had to.
There was all these wars, so they were either in the Navy or the Royal Air Force or, the
army.
The army, and Grandad Williams, I think, was in the Navy, and so he used to teach at the chapel, the Methodist chapel, the young boys. He would kind of teach them gym stuff and running and leaping and bounding and stuff like that.
Hello.
What? Oh, he was a lovely man.
Yes.
Shut up! You can't say that about my family. They were lovely people.
Oh, you can say anything you want about mine. Hey, wonderful.
Anyway, so there we are. Families. They're all wonderful.
Every family is dysfunctional.
Yes.
They have to be because they're made up of human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think I was any different I was very typical of the families at that time in that area, in that working class environment. Just normal. I didn't know it was the slums.
Right.
I didn't know it was nasty and outdoor, no bath, outdoor toilet, diddle. I was just there.
Yeah.
Playing in the back alley with coal.
I remember your mum saying that there was a friend of hers and she had a little boy as well, and she took you round to play with the little boy, and then the mum said, "I'm sorry, but you can't bring your Jeffrey here." "Yeah, I'm sorry you can't bring your Jeffrey here anymore because he's bashing my son," and you would be bashing him and breaking all his toys. There you go.
Very nice. Shall we end on such a happy thing?
Yes, you're a lovely man and I love you so much. Well, there you go. It's good to talk,
We've no idea what that was about and why we did it, but that's what we do.
Love
you
yourselves.
so, and
love you.
Have a great day. Have a great life. Talk to us. Tell us what you think.
Oh, yeah.
We'll answer all your
and
questions.
And subscribe. I guess we should be
and
saying...
subscribe. That's another thing we have to do.
Yeah.
Keep subscribing. Whatever that means. Do it now. Goodbye.
Oh, I can't get it.
You can't get it.